Good day, everyone. For chapter 6.3, I would like to take a look at two exercises from the homework. Exercise 46 and exercise 49, which are both about stem and leaf diagrams. Only one exercise of the homework is about histograms. That's exercise 44, and I think that one is quite doable. So instead, I'm going to take my time and explain one more basic exercise about stem and leaf exercise, that's 46. Afterwards, I also would like to take a look at 49 about the double stem and leaf diagram, because I think it's very important that you also understand this type of diagram, and it involves a bit more skill to read this one. But let's first do exercise 46. So we have a class that has completed a test with a maximum possible score of 50. The results have been represented in the stem and leaf diagram that's shown on the right. As you can see, 15 appears only once. How many times does 17 appear? How many times does 21 appear, 23 and 28? So first of all, they give you how many times 15 appears. They say it only appears once. Right, let's take a look. Remember, we have the tens here and the units here. So the number 15 means we have to take the tens, the 1, plus 5, and there's only one 5, so indeed 15 only appears once. So if you want to take a look at how many times 17 appears, well, it has the same 10, right? Starts both with a 1, and afterwards take a look at the units, how many times the 7 appears. 2 times, so we have 17 and another time 17. So 17 appears 2 times. How many times does 28 appear? This time, the 10 unit is a 2. So we take a look at the 2 and take a look at how many units of 1 there are there. 1 and 2. So 21 also appears 2 times. Well, they also ask you to take a look at 23. Well, 23 again, the 2, and this time the 3 appears 3 times. So 23 is represented 3 times, and at last 28, and again this is a trick question, because if you're going to take a look at the 10 2, there isn't any unit of 8. So 28 in this case appears 0 times, doesn't appear at all. Right, so now how you can read the data out of a stem and leaf diagram. And what was the highest score obtained? Well, we know that the higher you get, the better your score, right? Because the maximum possible score is 50. Well, there isn't a tens of 5, so there isn't someone who has scored the maximum possible score. But the score that is the best, well, that is a score that has the tens of a 4. And someone scored 40, but 41 is even bigger, right? So the highest score obtained is going to be 41. And now, how many students completed the test? Right, so if you want to know this answer, you have to take a look at how many scores appear in the stem and leaf diagram as a whole. And in this case, you should just count the units. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 and 20 in total. So 20 students completed the test. So do not count the tens, right? Only count the units, because those represent the scores that you have gotten. Right, I hope this is a bit clear. Remember, here they ask how many students completed the test. They could also ask you, for example, how many percent of the students had a score that was higher than 30, for example. And then you have to do some calculating of percentages again, right? So then you take a look, well, who scored higher than 30? Well, those are those 5. How many is 5 of 20? Because 20 is total. 5 divided by 20 times 100%. You can also get that in the test paper. For now, we're first going to take a look at exercise 49. And I think this is quite a difficult one, but also a very important one. So please take notice. We have a double stem and leaf diagram. I already explained how this one works a bit in my theory video. Now we're going to take a little bit of an in-depth look at this exercise. The first question, how many professions are represented in the stem and leaf diagram? Do note that they do not say how many data are represented in the stem and leaf diagram. So first take a look. This diagram shows the average hourly wages for a number of professions. And in this case, the wages are separated for the wages for men and the wages for women, right? So those wages are for the same professions. So for example, I don't know if this is true, but if a man earns 14 euros and 20 cents, then for example, a woman can, unfortunately sometimes it's less, earn 14 euros and 10 cents. So this doesn't mean that you have to add up all the wages that are here and all the wages that are here together, because then you have counted them double, because the profession is both here and there. So if you want to know how many professions are represented in the stem and leaf diagram as a whole, just count them on one side, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, and the last one equals 14. So in total there are 14 professions. So there aren't 28 professions. That would be the answer if you also count all the wages that the women earn, right? 14 in total. Men working as office managers and as recruitment consultants have the same hourly average wage. What is the hourly wage for those professions? So they only talk about the men working as office managers and recruitment consultants, and they have the same hourly wage. That means that they should earn the same. So the units and the tenths should be the same. Are there any units here in this column that are the same and have the same unit attached to them? Right? There's only one possibility, and that one is right here. So 12 euros and 12 euros, well, those are the same, right? So that is the only possibility. The only possibility is that they both earn, let's see, it's hourly wage, 12 euros per hour. Right? So don't ask anything about the wages for the women, so just compare the data in the column of the man. And I think at C it gets a bit more difficult. Most male professionals are paid more than their female counterparts. A male planner earns 60 cents more than its female colleague. What are the hourly wages of the male planner? This means that we should try and find data for the woman that corresponds with data for the man. And we know that if we found the wages for a woman, the male planner earns 60 cents more. 60 cents means 6/10 more, right? So for example, let's say we begin at the bottom, 10 euros and 60 cents. Is there any man data points of hourly wage that corresponds with 60 cents more from this? Well, if you do 10 euros and 60 cents plus 60 cents, you get 11 euros and 20 cents. And you see that there isn't any hourly wage for the man that corresponds with this. So 10 euros and 60 cents isn't a possibility. For example, 11 euros and 40 cents is a possibility. Because if we're going to take a look, if we have 11 euros and 40 cents, this corresponds with 12 euros for the man. Plus 60 cents leaves you with 12.0, and that one does appear here in this column. And you're going to do that a couple of times until you find in this case, multiple solutions. The other ones are going to be, and you can do this for yourself if you want to, right? If a woman earns €13.60, this also corresponds with €14.20 for the male. And the last one, let's take a quick look. Oh, here, €14.10 plus 60 will make €14.70. And I think those are all the possibilities. That's quick variable, that isn't possible, that isn't possible either. That's plus 5. No, those are all the possibilities that there are. Right. So are those all acceptable answers is the next question. What are the hourly wages of the meal planner? Let's take a look. At exercise B, you saw that a male office manager and a male, let's take a look, recruitment consultant have the same hourly average wage. So they are both already accounted for. Those are the €12. So the planner cannot also earn €12, right? Because then there should be another 0, because there are 3 jobs that earn €12. So this one is out of the question. It can't be €12 because then there should be another 0, because you have an office manager and a recruitment consultant and a meal planner that all earn €12. And at B we already said that those 2 are accounted for. However, those 2 are perfectly fine. So we still don't know but what it exactly is, but we do know he either earns €14.20 or he earns €14.70. Right, and I think in this question they don't state very properly that there could be multiple answers, so that's a bit tricky. I don't think the question is that clear, but in this case there are 2 answers. Right, at exercise D, I'm going to quickly erase this. Right, so if you want to write this down, please do. Or I can even do it like this. I think it's much more quicker. Right, much quicker. So at exercise 49D, the only time when women earn more than men is when they were working as the heads of a support service. Women earned €5 per hour more than their male counterparts. What are the hourly wages for the female head of support services? So we should try to find the wage of a woman right here, which is exactly 5 more, so we could say 5 units more than that of the man counterpart. Right. And it already leaves a lot of the values out of the question, because for example €14.80, well then the male should earn €9.80. Well, that isn't even, there isn't even a unit with 9, so we know that all those values can't be the answers. For €16.30, that means there should be €11.30, isn't the case. €17.60 minus 5 gives us €12.60, isn't represented either. So hopefully €90.80 minus 5 leaves us with 14.8, and that one is represented right here. So in that case we know that the female head of servants earns €19.80 per hour. Right, only one answer available right now, this one. And the last question at E, what percentage of professions listed in the diagram have wages of less than €525 per 36-hour week? Remember, as of now we are talking about wages per hour. So we have to either convert this table to wages per week, or we should convert the week back to wages per hour. I'm going to do the last one. So if we know that we earn 525 euros in 36 hours, then in 1 hour we earn 526 divided by 36. This is going to be approximately 14 euros 58 cents. Right? So now, what percentage of professions listed in the diagram have wages less than this? And remember, again, I don't think the question is very clear about this. But I should take a look at the column of the women, because they, unfortunately, earn a bit less per hour. Right? So I'm not going to take a look at the men, because in that case I will announce that's going to be a lot, well, the percentage is going to be lower because men earn more. But I also want to take into account the women. So I'm going to take into account only this column. And I don't think the question is very clear about that again, but I'm going to do it. So for women, which jobs earn less? Well, that is everything that's right up here, right? Because after that, 14 euros and 80 cents, that's more, so this is all more as well. That leaves us with, if you're going to add those up, 10 jobs which earn less. However, what percentage of professions listed in the diagram have wages of less? Well, percentage, we're going to take a look at 10 divided by 14. Why 14? Because at A, and you can also count them, right? We know there are 14 professions. So how can you calculate the amount of an amount? That is the prior knowledge. 10 divided by 14 times 100%. And again, you can use your calculator if you want to. It's going to give us approximately 71.4%. Well, that was quite a mouthful, I think, for such an exercise, but however, I think it's well worth the time, because the double stem and leaf diagram is very important to understand, I think. Right? Unfortunately, there's only one exercise in this chapter about it. I'm going to take a look. Maybe there is another one in the diagnostic tests. No, there isn't. And in revision, there isn't one either. So maybe I will give you one in the formative test paper, but I have to make that one right off yet. Good luck with this all. I hope you all understand what I have done. If not, please ask me questions into the lesson. And good luck to you all.